If you're playing a Fortnite tournament and you just keep dying in dumb ways, you're just like, why is there so many people here? I don't know what to do. There's nothing I could do. There's actually ways to prevent this from happening. And we're going to talk about how to position yourself away from it, how to predict where the zones are pooling, how to stay away from everyone. This is how to rotate like a pro. First, we're going to be talking about predicting the storm. Let's be honest, you want to stay center zone, you want to have good positioning, don't want to be on congested side. And here's the secret how to always pool. You want to look at the side that has the most water near the edge of the map. For example, like this picture. As you can see in this replay mode picture, the zone will always keep pooling that direction. In fact, here's a time lapse of it so you can see it happening. You can see it's going towards Sandy Steeps, and it always keeps pooling that direction until about the 6th zone. It starts to get a little more erratic, but it will always stay towards that area, as you can see in this video. So it's very important while you're playing, you want to make sure when the first zone opens, you want to keep an eye out. You want to make sure you see which direction it's pooling. For example, you want to see, hey, it's pooling up towards Wrath and Underworld, maybe I should start rotating there early. It's very important to see if any good high ground places are in zone. For example, I like to look out if the big snowy mountain near Grand Glacier's in zone, because if you get that, pretty much secure the win. And it's important to keep your POI in mind. If you have a POI that's near the edge of the map, for example, Brutal Beachhead, it will have a way lower chance of pooling compared to something like Restored Reels. Even if you have a lower chance, any POI can pool. Literally any POI. So that's why you keep an eye on which direction it's pooling. Now we're going to be learning how to position ourselves. Now that you should have some decent loot, a lot in game you're going to have to ask yourself, do I want to stay at my POI or rotate to the high ground that's going to pool zone? Most of the time I would recommend rotating, but it's really up to you and it's situational. For example, let's say you're at Nitro Dome, and you see that the zone's going to start pooling towards the Grand Glacier Mountain. In the next zone, it keeps pooling there again like normal. If you would have went there a little earlier, you might have been able to claim the hill compared to now. Everyone else is going to be down there, and someone's going to have claim height. So you want to think, do I want to claim it? Do I want to play a little lower nearby it? I would recommend playing for the hill though. If you get that, it's really good. Now we're going to be briefly talking about priority zones. For example, if the zone's pulling up this way, that's going to be low priority, then mid priority, then high priority. Let's take a look at low priority zones. It's going to be harder to rotate, surge hungry, congested, there's going to be players everywhere, and impossible to rotate. Now in medium priority, you have a higher chance of pooling, you can get good surge if you need it, and there's not many players. High priority zone has the highest chance of pooling. You should already have good surge, and there's going to be almost 0 people there. If you need surge, I'd recommend playing mid priority. High priority is if you already have surge. And a very important thing is you need Fizz. If you don't have Fizz, you're not going to be able to rotate at all. You're just going to be left behind in the dust. Now we're going to talk about steps to rotate. It's very important to peek through your cone. You hold the edit and look through to make sure scout out, see where people are. Then you pop your Fizz and rotate, which is a pretty basic one. A pretty important one is use your wood to block any shots. For example, if you see someone going to shoot at you, just build a couple wood walls, wood ramps. That's what your wood's for. But you want to save your brick and metal for your boxes in the zone. And whenever you box, don't get position greedy. If you're like, hey, I want to go a bit deeper in the zone, you could end up getting lobby focused, and that could mess up your entire game. So sometimes it's earlier to box up on congested side. Now we're going to be talking about 6th and 7th zone. If you didn't know, they always pool back in the storm, just like these pictures. There's 6th zone, there's 7th zone. And I kind of already talked about this in another video, but we're going to briefly talk about what I call the 6th zone secret. So, whenever the 6th zone opens, everyone's going to be on the edge, right? Desperately trying to get in the zone. but no one's going to be in storm because it was just in storm. If you go there on the edge, rotate there early, you can get free positioning. Kind of like this picture from FNCS. Also, very similar, we're going to be talking about rotating in dead side. This one's very easy to explain. If you're on the marker and zone just came in on the red X, you know going through the green arrow will be completely dead because you're not inside the original storm circle, just like the picture. And whenever you're rotating, I like to carry the gatekeeper because what I like to do is I like to pop my fizz, jump, and I like to try to jump on people with my gatekeeper. They're not going to expect someone to jump behind them. You get a tag, maybe even a kill, important refreshes in endgames, and that's going to help a lot. Another smaller tip is to stay elevated while you're rotating. If the zone starts pulling towards the arrow, you might not want to rotate downhill because it's going to be harder to navigate if people are shooting at you. Rather go on the higher elevated spot because it gives you more room to try to back off or disengage compared to going down low. That is going to be it for the tips on this video, but I have plenty more tips just like these in my How to Qualify for Solo Victory Cups video. There will be a little thing appearing on the screen if you want to click it. But thanks for watching and see you later, fishy friends.